Hello, Mario! In the last video I had inserted the image of the site plan that we were going to draw into the new template. As yet it has not been drawn up and such. What I'm going to do now is to accurately draw the boundaries and then scale the image to fit the template. So I'm just going to reduce my drawing there, and what I'm going to do is to bring up the site plan. Oh, I thought I was going to bring up the site plan. Oh, here it is here. Yes, bring that up and just fit that in the side there. Now I can zoom into that a little bit. Let's see how we go. Bring it up there a little bit more. Okay, and use our little hand tool. Perhaps we can drop down a little bit more, 100% perhaps. But there you are, we can see. Now, there's a number, you can see first of all, something to note there is that the north point is not going up the side of the page. Now, to me, I'm a surveyor, I draw everything in its true form. And so, for me, I would try and have the north point parallel to the sides of the page. So I'm going to draw it that way, but I will show you how to do the other ones. Now, there's many places you can start here, but I'm always just going to start in the westernmost point. So I'm going to start at that point there. So what I'm going to do is first of all, I haven't made much of my layers, so I'm just going to expand this up here and get into here, and I'm going to just go home and I'm going to create a layer for my image. So layer properties, I'm just going to click on there, and they're the layers that have come through in my template. So I'm going to do a new layer, and I'm going to call that layer image. Okay, and while I'm at it, I'm also going to do a new layer, and I'm going to call that boundaries. So I'm going to put like such, and for now, that'll do me there for now. And I'm just going to click on the image here. This should be the image there, and you can see it's in the template logo layer there on the properties. I've just got the properties palette up there, so you can always just, if you haven't got it there, just right click properties. We'll put the properties palette up there, and I'm just going to change that into my new image layer. Okay, like so. So that's my image layer there, and then I'm just going to go home, and what I'm going to do just for now, I'm just going to turn my image layer off. It'll be a bit distracting. So that's all good there. I'll just drop this down here now, and what I'm going to do is just start drawing my boundaries. But before I do that, I'm going to set my units, or just check my units. I've probably got them set from my template, decimal, 4 decimal points, millimeters, probably. That could probably be better at 3. It doesn't matter. You can set it any time. I've got my angle in degrees, minutes and seconds. There's the precision clockwise and the direction north. Okay, so I'm all good to go. Alright, now probably the easiest way to draw this is over here in model space, just like that. So I'm going to start drawing my boundaries. So I'm just going to do a line, and I'm going to put a line in there, and if you look on here, you'll see it's got a bearing of 350 degrees, which is going to be up there somewhere around about 350. And you'll note that because the north point is slanted, this won't come out parallel to the side of the page. It'll come out something different. So I just go Control and the little chevron there to give me the, oops, what's happening there? Shift chevron There's my little chevron there, and then I just type in 350 degrees and enter, and then that's actually 350 out there, and then I put in my distance 23500, enter, and there's my distance there, like so. Alright, there it is, and I'll just click on here, and there you are. You can see there's the bearing, 350 degrees and 23500, and it's correct. Now this is, remember that the north point is at a slightly slanted. Alright, I'm just going to check my units for this because I just want to make sure that I'm in millimeters, not meters, because quite often I am in meters. Yes, I'm in millimeters, that's good. Okay, so now I can draw my next line, which I'll just get the dimensions nice and front and center, and there it is there, and it's at 80 degrees. So it's just the same thing again, line, there's my line there, click on there, I've got my object snaps turned on, and 80 degrees should be round about up there. So shift for my chevron, 80 degrees, enter, and then my distance 42744, enter, and there we are. We've got my distance in there, that boundary in there. Now let's just move over to here, and there we go, and we're going to put this one in. Now this one's at 180, which should be straight down there like so. So I'm just going to go shift with my chevron and 180. I could just use ortho mode if I wanted to, because that would go, and then I'm going to put in my distance 23863, enter. Now we've got the closing line. Very important with the closing line, we can just pop it in there like that. Very important with the closing line that we check it out, because quite often there are mistakes on plans. Surveyors do make mistakes, despite what people might think. They do rigorous checks to make sure they don't occur, because they can be very costly and risky. But I'm just going to click on that line there, and it possibly won't come out exactly as the dimension here, because there is some error present. Up to about, I would say, up to about 30 mils, that would be on the boundary of being acceptable, but certainly anything greater than that needs further investigation. There could be two things wrong. The plan could be wrong, or you could have put something in a mistake. But looking at this one here, we can see that we have got 260 degrees, 0 minutes, 2 seconds, which is pretty good. 2 seconds is a very small error. And for the distance, we've got 38,600.234. Now remember, that's 0.234 of a millimetre. So it's a very accurate close in this case here, and we can be well satisfied with that. So there you are, we have our boundaries in, except if we look here, I've got them in there. So I really want to put those, I should have made the boundary layer the current layer. So I'm going to put all of those in there like that, and the boundary layer, boundary like that. And I'm also just going to, that's pretty much all we need at this point. Oh, we need, perhaps can have a little bit of a, well, all we need at this point, because we're going to then put the image onto that in the next video. So what I will do in preparation for that, because these lines will be hard to see against the white background of the image, I'm going to make this up full now. Put that in there like that. I can perhaps just turn the image back on for now, like so. There there it is there. And I'm just going to select the image and move it to the back, draw order, send to the back. And you can see that the white is very difficult on the boundary layer. So what I'm going to do is go to my layer properties. I've got everything usually set at by layer for the colour. So I'm just going to change the colour of the boundaries layer, and I think I might just choose red. That might be a bit better, might be easier to see. Let's give it a go and see what transpires. So there we go. Yes, and there we can see that the red is going to be a lot easier to see. And we can see what I'm getting at here. I've got north parallel to the page, so the north point here is a bit of an angle and things are rotated. But we're going to look at that in the next video, where we're going to do the scaling. So yes, all very good. See you on the other side. Cheers.